This week on the PSPremiere Podcast, Dory shows remorse for her actions.
I killed so many people.
I pitch a game. Naughty dogs. And Mitch makes a special appearance. Good eye, mates. What is up, squad fam? It's your boys, James Smith, coming at you with a new episode.
I want to go home.
Of the PSPremiere Podcast. It's the 41st episode.
You're not going through with that, are you?
I am absolutely going through with that.
It's your boy Jay Easy.
This is gold.
It's my boy.
Easy. This is already the worst episode we've already done. Always done. Ever done.
It's my boy Jimbo.
Yeah. This is, of course, the 41st episode. We're getting real close to episode 50. And I discovered the other day that episode 50 is also going to land the week of the podcast's anniversary. So
Yeah.
we really we are really going to need to do something special for that.
It's Destiny. It's like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Does anyone have any ideas for what we're going to do?
I think we should just do like a fucking the thing that the Muppets do. They just bring like every cameo that they can get on that given day, and people just come in for random one-liners like every now and then. That's
That actually sounds like a good idea. I kind of want to do that now.
Should have like a talent show.
Well, because we have a wide array of rotating guests on this show. We could just call them all in to tell various jokes.
Right. That's true.
And say nice things about us.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe we can do our midway report card on the year, like what are top games so far or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
How are we feeling so far? I mean, but then again, that's this in July and not June. So.
Or maybe I should just cut together a sort of montage of the best moments of the podcast so far. I mean, 50 episodes, there's got to be plenty I can pull from for that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Seb's already gone through a bunch of the quotes, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has the timestamps.
I have the timestamps. Yeah.
You have the times. You have the power.
Yeah, I don't have the ability to edit or anything, but I have all the timestamps if anyone needs them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the information, and James has the power to edit. It's the perfect combo.
So yeah,
is this part of the show or?
Yeah, this is part of the show.
Okay.
We're changing things up. So tune in. Is it July?
July?
It's July,
Yeah,
right?
July.
Yeah.
Tune in July to see what we end up doing for that. Yeah, so if you're listening to this, if you enjoy the show, please leave a like on the video if you're watching it on YouTube. It really helps us out. And God, I haven't even gotten to introducing you guys yet. So, you know, as usual, a smaller cast this week, but I'm joined, of course, by Dorian Ford.
Hello, it's me. I'm Dory. I go by she, her pronouns. And I just beat Hitman 3. So that's what I'll be talking about today.
Great. And Sebastian Cardone.
Hi, I'm Sebastian. I hope everybody's having a great week. You can follow me at LittleSeb93.
God damn
Fantastic.
It. And you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at DClaire192.
Damn
You've
it,
had
guys,
your
you gotta-
moment.
Yeah.
No! Damn it.
Yeah, so hopefully this will be a shorter one because there's less of us. And also we're changing up the what we're currently playing segment this week. We are now calling it, I know we didn't really have a title for it before, but in the description it will now be called Spotlight. Is it Spotlight or Spotlights?
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Well, both. I mean.
Okay, whatever. We'll decide later. But basically, it's basically the same thing, but we're going to limit ourselves to a maximum of 2 games each from now on. So Seb, do you want to kick us off with your 2 games for this week? And like I said, it's a maximum, so I don't even have any games this week, so yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I only have one this week because I was going to talk about Mass Effect as well, but I don't really have anything new to say. Like, it's pretty much the same as last week. So I want to focus on Returnal, which I beat this week. And when I'd say I have a love-hate relationship with this game, I definitely do. This is my game of the year so far. It really is an incredible game. If not for the technical issues that I had, it'd be like a 95 out of 100 or 9.5 out of 10. It's a really incredible game in terms of the visuals, the 3D audio, the all the features on the DualSense. Like it's just incredible. Like this is like PlayStation's first like major exclusive that's not like a remake or like a side game or anything like that. This is like their first brand new IP for the PlayStation 5, and it feels like it. Like Housemarque really did a great job. Like this game, the gameplay is incredible. Like Housemarque always makes great gameplay in their games, but they're always incredibly hard. And when I say this game is really hard, I'm not lying. Like this game is harder than pretty much all the Souls games, in my opinion, because in those games, you can at least grind and progress, and you can keep your items and things like that. In this game, once you die, you lose practically everything.
The thing is, right? I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the because you're saying it's like harder than Dark Souls.
It is,
but at the same time, didn't you go through like 3 or 4 biomes in one go?
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's very skill dependent. In this game, you can. This game can go from yeah. I actually was pretty good at this game, except for the last biome. Like, that kicked my ass. But this game is one of those games where you can beat this game in an hour if you're that good of a gamer. Like, you're a pro gamer, you can beat this game in an hour, or it can take you 40 hours. It's totally. Some people are probably not even be able to beat this game. I can see people like struggling on the first or second boss and then dropping it.
So basically, because Mitch isn't here this week, you've sort of taken on the role of Bragmaster.
I guess. I mean, are you guys particularly good at like games that throw a lot at you and you can constantly dodge? Like, you guys have reflexes for that?
It's kind of like a third-person shooter bullet hell, isn't it?
It's a bullet. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Every enemy throws like orbs at you, and you have to constantly dodge.
Because it's a bit of a conflict of interest for me. Because I'm good at third-person shooters, but I'm not really not good at bullet hells.
Yeah.
So I have no idea where I would be.
Yeah.
I have no idea either. Once this game is on sale, like I'm definitely picking it up. I at least want to try it. But it's gonna have to be half off at least or something like that for me to take that risk, because I can definitely see myself really struggling with this game and just not coming back to it, or getting really frustrated and like slamming my fist down on my bed or something like that. Like this seems like a game that would definitely frustrate me, but at the same time, the reviews have been so glowing and I really want to try out a new IP. I'm curious about the story and about what did you think about the story, actually, Seb? I'm curious.
It was all right. I mean, I don't think the story was anything incredible, but I think it just moves the story forward. It's gameplay is the king in this game more than anything. Story kind of takes a back seat. There is a story, but it's kind of in the background. You know what I mean? It's more.
I'm curious. Do they, and no spoilers, but do they actually explain? Like, do they actually explain what's going on in the game, or is it just very subtle and vague throughout the whole thing? Like, is there an actual explanation? You don't have to tell me the explanation, but
yeah.
I think okay. Okay, that's all I want to know. That's
it can be a little vague, I guess, but it's there.
Sure. Okay. I was curious.
Because the thing is, like, I think the only reason I want to pick up this game is because I feel bad. I mean, this is technically, I know it doesn't seem like it at times, but this is technically a PlayStation channel, so I feel bad leaving it off of my potential Game of the Year list.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're a big PlayStation person, I can see the conflict and interest, because on one hand, this is very much so a difficult roguelike game that's usually like a small indie game on PC. It's usually not associated with PlayStation, and like you feel like you want to be part of the conversation, because it's like PlayStation's one of the big games of the year. But yeah, I know, like, because you feel like you're missing out on Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us if you skip this game, just because it's one of those that's on that level. Yeah. I mean, it's not on that level, but it's like in terms of like advertisement.
In terms of like the buzz and
yeah. So I'm not sure I can recommend this if you just know you're not gonna like this, because I'll go into my next point that one of the reasons this game is really hard is not so much the combat, like when everything getting thrown at you. Like, it's manageable if you're just patient and you don't just run into like 10 different enemies. You find a good position maybe like shoot and then hide behind a wall and things like that. Don't just go guns blazing. But the hard part of this game is that it's too long. All the biomes take like an hour and a half to 2 hours to do. And the problem with that is that like if anytime you get a crash or like your power goes out, you lose 2 hours of progress instantly. And that's where this game gets really frustrating. That it really needs a save system, in my opinion, because even this is like a minor spoiler, but when you get to biome 4, all your progress that you made in biome 1 to 3, I think gets erased, and you got to start from scratch again.
Are you sure that's not a bug?
No, it might be, but I don't think so.
It seems very buggy, this game, based on
I don't think so.
Well, not that buggy, but
I think it's because biome 1 to 3 is Act 1, and then biome 4 to 6 is Act 2. So I think because it's shipped at Acts, and she thinks she's. I don't want to spoil. I won't say it.
But you've had some bugs, right?
Oh, well, in terms of bugs, nothing. I've had no bugs.
Right.
I've had a couple crashes, and it was all in the same biome. Biome 4 because it's a woodsy area with a lot of trees and moving parts to it. When there's a lot of enemies and shooting and like the moving leaves and stuff, the game just can't handle it because it really is an impressive game. But even then, it just can't handle that section for some reason, and it kept crashing in the same biome. I didn't have any crashes anywhere else except that one biome, and it happened like 4 times.
But now that you've played so much of the game, are you still Are you still of the opinion that they should add a way to save progress?
Absolutely. It's just really frustrating that you can have such a great run. I don't think it'd be much of an issue of like you can get through things in like 10 minutes, and you probably can't. Once you like get used to the game, it gets a lot easier. Like that's why I think my second like playthrough, I'll just get into it. What happened was my save got corrupted, and it completely just deleted my save. And the one that I had in the cloud was in biome 2, and I was in 5 when that happened, or 6. I was in 6 when that happened. So I literally had to go from 2 to 6. And what happened was I went Ultra Instinct mode and just went from 1 to 4 in like 25 minutes. I was just beasting. Like I don't know what it was. When you just get pissed off and you're just like in gamer mode and you just sit up in your chair a little bit.
When I get pissed off, I get worse at games.
Yeah, like normally you do, but sometimes it's just something clicks and you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna get this shit done. And
you're just like, let's do this. Let's get this finished.
I told Seb this is another reason I'm very hesitant to get this game. I can see this happening to me, and me then swearing up and down that I'm done with the game and I'm not gonna go back to it. But then I'm gonna remember, probably how great the gameplay is and how fun it was, and how much I want to go back to it, and then I'll do what Seb did, probably a lot worse, to be fair. I'll probably just fucking waste another 3 hours or so. And I only say waste because in this case I've already done that. But corrupted saves. That's what I want them to fix. Those are the 2 big things. Make sure. Well, 3 big things. Make corrupted saves not happen, or at least almost never happen. Manual saves, and then a lower price point. And then once those 3 boxes are ticked, I'm in. If at least 2 out of 3 of those boxes get ticked, I'd probably be in.
Yeah, because you can technically run by every enemy and just go right to the exit, like in like 2 minutes. You can. The problem is, if you're really having a hard time with the boss, you can't just run into a boss with no health items, not upgrading your health bar, no better guns. So you can technically speedrun this game as fast as possible, but the problem is if you're not like a pro gamer at it, you're going to go into a boss just completely unprepared, and you're just going to keep constantly dying. So there's no point of rushing through it like that. There is times where you can do that. Like when I was in biome 4 to 6, and 6 kept kicking my ass. And that, like, I was just running through 4, getting like specific health items. And then so by the time I got to the final boss, I had 4 health like healing items. So it was just enough to get me over the boss, because I had a hard time with that boss. I don't know. I think I was just exhausted.
Sure.
But the thing with this game is I've seen people have problems with the bosses, but in my opinion, the bosses are actually easier than actually getting to the bosses. It's kind of like Demon Souls, where the journey's harder than the actual bosses, because the bosses themselves, as long as you keep a distance and you just constantly move, you shouldn't really have a problem, honestly. and that's totally skill dependent. But I beat every boss on the first try except for the second and last one, so I didn't really have a hard time with the bosses. And you can play them again and fight them again if you want to get some points or whatever. But yeah.
What was your overall playtime? I think you said something like 10 hours, right?
No, longer than that. I gotta include the second playthrough because my save got corrupted. So overall, my PlayStation said I have 31 hours in it, but I would say it was probably like 20 something hours, which I think is pretty good because this is usually not my kind of genre, personally. And I don't like fast paced combat like that. I don't. Like, I'm terrible at Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. I'm really good at the Souls games that are slower, because I'm a very patient person. Like Demon Souls, I had zero issues. Like Demon Souls, I had barely died, honestly. Now I was playing a magic build, but
you really have taken Mitchie's place this week.
Yeah, I didn't really have a part. Like I died, but it was more like there was like this one section that like my build was just not built for, and I died. It took me like 3 hours to get to that section. But everything else, I didn't have any issues personally.
Yeah, I'm more of a fast-paced action person. I like my Kingdom Hearts. I like my Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
You know, my Devil May Cry 5 was my first ever time playing a DMC game at all. And I bumped up that difficulty after I beat it the first time, and then I think I beat it a second time, and then I bumped it up again. And then I stopped after the first boss because I was like, okay, I'm good. I've reached my skill level. I mean, no, actually, I got to the second boss, but anyway, it took me a long time, and I still sometimes thought about going back to it because I fucking love DMC5. It's so good. But yeah, so I think I might enjoy Returnal more than I might enjoy something like Dark Souls because I can't stand Dark Souls combat. I know this is a really weird comparison, but like when I was playing Vampire, a lot of the mechanics that I was talking about that I didn't like, other people was like, oh, that's a Souls thing. I'm like, that's why I don't like it. I don't like that kind of combat.
Yeah, like I said, though, I think Returnal's harder only because in the Souls games, if you're struggling with a boss, you can spend the time you can spend like 2 to 3 hours grinding enemies and get to like level 100 something, and then be way more prepared and stock up on health items and things like that. You can't do that in this game. If you die, not only do you die, you lose everything, and they send you right back to the first biome or the fourth biome.
That's brutal.
Yeah, so that's the difference.
They send you back to the beginning of the biome that you're in, right? Not like biome 1, right?
No,
or it's biome 1.
It's where the act is. So if you're in biome 3, you die, you go to 1. But if in 4 to 6, when you die, you go back to 4. So you don't have to go all the way to 1 to 6. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something of a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, so it wasn't. So even though it sucked that I lost my save, it wasn't a huge deal that I lost my save because once I got to 4, I was basically back where I originally was because at the end of the day, if I die, I'm back at 4 anyway. So so at the end of the day, it wasn't a huge deal. It wasn't like I lost a big RPG save where I lost 80 hours of my life or anything like that. Like I said, that I wouldn't. If that was the case, I wouldn't go back to this game. I'd be done. But since this game is built to like you can speed run if you're just having a great run, it wasn't as big of a deal as it could have been. Like, but I was furious.
You were pissed.
I was pissed.
That RPG thing though, if you like, it lost up 80 hours of progress.
I was done.
That's the kind of thing that makes me want games to have a feature like DVD does, where you can chapter select just from the get-go without having even played any of it. Because if you think about it, it's kind of that thing where it's like, okay, you don't want players to play the end of the game right from the get-go without playing the rest of it. But who's going to do that? No one does that with a movie or a TV show. Yeah.
I mean, the card system on PS5 was kind of supposed to do that. Like, I know, like in Demon Souls, you can teleport using the cards or something like that. You know, those like.
Is this Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, but I think those are more for like side activities and clearing that stuff.
But I think they can try. I could be totally wrong, but I remember them like teleporting you to certain levels if you wanted to, and people were upset about that.
You probably need the levels unlocked first, though, right?
That's probably what it is. But I do think I'm pretty sure you can teleport to levels with that or something. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
but overall, like I said, my game of the year, I really hope they added a save system, and when I tell you the biggest, most difficult thing is the long length of the biomes, like because you can lose 2 hours of playtime because of this game, and because of something out of your control. So that's the difficulty is more the length than anything, in my opinion. So
Sure.
yeah, good game.
Great. Dory, what's your spotlight?
I'm gonna shine a spotlight on a couple.
I'm
games.
loving this already. The spotlight thing.
Yeah. Well, we're all magicians here. Obviously, we get it right on the first try, not the 40th try. Yeah. So I finally gave up on Bloodroots. I finally admitted to myself I'm not enjoying it. I get frustrated with it, and I don't like when I get frustrated at games, unless it's Kingdom Hearts, and then I'll bear and grin it. But that's like one of my exceptions, because I love the story, I love the characters, blah blah blah. But I finally admitted to myself I wasn't enjoying it as much as I wanted to. I mean, I like Bloodroots. I think it's got excellent animation. I think when you get a good run, it feels great. The weapons are diverse and interesting. But the problem was I just can't stand games where you die in one hit for the most part, right? I just, for me, like, that's just a very unforgiving kind of thing. And unless your game is really short, and I think I've put 4 or 5 hours into it before giving up, I just find it a very kind of tedious thing. I don't mind it in short bursts, but this is the whole game. And I had problems where, a couple nights ago, where I would keep dying to enemies because I either didn't see them, or because they blended into the background, or like I would miss. It's very easy, at least for me. I don't know. Get good, right? But maybe I just I would strike at an enemy, and it would just miss them by like a hair's breadth or whatever, and then they just kill me, or I wouldn't plan things out well enough, and I'd try to run away, and they would always catch up to me and kill me, which for a guy named Wolf seems a bit counterintuitive, but whatever.
So there's always one. It's always one hit, and you die in that game. Always.
It's always one hit. I got past the first major boss, which took me, I think the game told me 36 tries, and I had to come back to it at one point, because I remember talking about it a few weeks ago, but I was very frustrated. And it's just like, I've got other games on the Switch I'd rather be playing, right? I want to be playing Ni no Kuni at some point. I just downloaded There Is No Game, and another game I can't remember the name of. But yeah, Super Crush KO or something. So like, I want to be playing other games. I don't mind that the game is tough, and like I said, there are things I love about it. The animation. It seemed like they were actually trying to build a story, which could have been cool. But I just got to admit to myself that I'm getting too frustrated playing it, and it's like not fun for me at this point. It just feels, for me, too unforgiving. Like James and I were talking about this, and he's like, "Well, they have great checkpoints, and that's why I never got frustrated." And I'm like, I don't know that the checkpoints are that great. They're just kind of area by area checkpoints. It seems pretty bog standard for me it
is, but I think it's totally fine that the game is not for you. I personally disagree with the assessment that it's too punishing. Is that what you would assess as?
That's generally what I think.
I feel like the checkpoint system, and the fact that you respawn so quickly, is sort of, I feel like the whole game in that way is based around the fact that they want you to try over and over and over again without punishing you too badly, so that you can try over and over again until you practice enough and get it down.
Yeah, I think the practice, at first, before and after the first boss, I think the practicing was fun and interesting, but I think eventually I just got nervous about dying, and so I would abandon certain weapons, or I wouldn't take risks that I think the game wanted me to. And I think also I just get overwhelmed by the choices. I'm like, wait, I should have picked that, or I didn't see that guy, I didn't know he was there, and it just gets... For me, it gets frustrating. I think I just don't have the tolerance for it like other people do, which I think is fine,
Yeah.
I knew I was taking a risk on this game. I knew that I might not like it, because it's not typically my thing. But even before, like, James had his review that I enjoyed, and kind of, like, pushed me over the edge to, like, kind of, like, buy it, I was thinking about getting it because it was pretty cheap and it looked fun. And I liked it. I liked the animation. The animation definitely struck me as different and interesting. But yeah, I kind of gave up on Bloodroots, and I'm just gonna be okay with that. I mean, maybe at some point I'll go back to it. It is definitely one of those games you can pick up and and play for a little bit and then put back down, which is nice.
And the silver lining is that now you don't like it, so you have to wonder.
Yeah, exactly. And then I went and played, and we're not going to talk about this at length, but this is more of a joke for James. But then I went and played Hades for 15-20 minutes just to remind myself that I'm okay at video games sometimes.
We almost made it through this segment without talking about Hades for once.
Amazing. But yeah, the other game I want to talk about more seriously is Hitman 3. I just rolled credits on it. This is another case of me having to accept my limits. I was putting undue pressure on myself because once I finished a level, I'm like, okay, I have to go back. I have to redo this whole thing. I have to do it different ways. I have to kill people different ways. I have to get different costumes. I have to get as many things as possible. And I've been seeing stuff about Hitman 3 lately with all the DLC coming out, and then also people just been talking about Hitman, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna finish the goddamn story. If I like this game enough, eventually I will go back to it. I will make time for it. I will replay levels, because that's what I did with the first 2 levels. The level where you're in the really tall building, and then the level where you're basically a detective. I did those to death.
What made you put it down? It came out in January, right? So
yeah, I think it was the undue expectations I was putting on myself, because it was like, this is a Hitman game. I've got to replay every level multiple times. Plus, at the time, I was thinking about playing a review or doing a review, writing a review for Hitman 3. And so that put even more, it's me putting pressure on myself, to be clear. Yeah. But it was me putting even more pressure, like, well, now I've got to do everything in this game.
Yeah.
And then I just completely, overwhelmed myself, and I was like, I just can't. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. Like, the nature of me is I like to jump to different games. When I'm done with a game, I'm done with a game. I don't like the kind of gameplay structure where they want you to replay the same level 20 times. Like, I kind of want to move on. And that's why I'm not crazy about these games as much.
I was loving the game as well. I'm in the exact same camp. I jumped off it after, as much as I was loving the game, I jumped off it sort of during the second level, because it's kind of like, because I was trying to do everything in that first level and then try and do everything in the second level, and it's part of my brain just won't let me move on until I've done all of the challenges and stuff in each level.
Yeah.
But it takes so long, and
it's so long.
You're doing the same thing over and over again in a way, and it is fun. It's just eventually it's kind of like, okay, I'd rather be playing something else now.
Yeah. So what I did is I only had a few missions left. The game's incredibly short if you just blast through it. And so, which is why, of course, replaying is encouraged. And I think it's great. I love the replays. It's just, I think the way my brain was working, I basically had to, kind of, to use a phrase, kind of just pull a switch and go okay, no, we're not doing that anymore. I'm going to just go through this game, and if I love it so much, I'll go back to it. But yeah, I have some funny stories about the last few missions, so no major spoilers or anything like that. And I'm not even going to talk about the story because I personally don't care about it. But basically, in the third to last mission, where you're in China, I believe, basically a very pretty level, lots of neon lights, very, very pretty. I did the first kill almost perfectly. It was flawless, honestly. I was very impressed and surprised with myself because it had been a long time since I'd played. And then I had a bunch of mess ups prior, but I was doing the whole save scumming thing. But when I actually found the target, first try, I killed them pretty flawlessly. It was a pretty good setup. But the second one, everything went wrong. I had to redo this a bunch of times because I just wasn't gonna redo the whole level or whatever. And honestly, this game encourages save scumming. It's not even really scummy because the game auto saves at almost every minute or 5 minutes or something, and you can manually save whenever you want. So clearly, IO want you to save whenever you want, so you can try as many times in many different ways. So I don't really consider it save scumming, but whatever. But yeah, so the second one just went horribly wrong. I killed the target, but I got caught, I think on camera doing it, and he fell into the camera's purview or something stupid like that. And I just got caught, and I had to basically shoot my way out of there. I had to hide for a little bit, shoot my way out of there, and then I decided to not let go of my gun because I didn't want to be unarmed if I ran into any more trouble. So just everyone had little white bubbles above them, basically being like, you know, because I was running around with a gun and I didn't have the right outfit, so I wasn't supposed to. So it was just this funny thing of like scrambling for an exit, and like eventually I got onto a train and I got away. But it was exhilarating and ridiculous at the same time. It was very fun.
Yeah, I've had moments like that where it feels fun in the moment, but you kind of feel at the end like you've bollocks it up. You know?
I don't get like that. I'm just glad that I got my objective done, and honestly, I'm more so laughing than kicking myself. But that's,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
that's my personal reaction. And then the other level just went to hell really fast. So this is the winery level, and you're basically after two different targets. I think I got the first target pretty well. Yeah, so it was weird because it seemed like I was compromised as soon as I killed them, but then everybody just kind of didn't know that it was me who did it, so I got away. And then I had to dress up as a winery worker, and I subdued them. I didn't kill them. I try not to kill non-targets. But then this is where everything went wrong, because somebody looked over a fucking balcony and saw the body and knocked out, and me having done it. And I just went, but you, like, the game wants you to get this specific winery worker in this specific location, but yet I still somehow got caught, even though I did what the game wanted me to. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So then I went loud for the rest of the mission, and I killed so many, I killed so many people. I did this whole thing that you maybe y'all have seen on Dan Tack's stream, but I went into a bathroom and I let all the guards come in single file, and I just boop boop with a crowbar, boop boop with a crowbar, boop boop with a crowbar, and I just did it over and over and over again until eventually because the AI is fucking stupid. They got a couple shots on me every now and then, but I'd always hide in the corner.
Damn, you had a full on graveyard.
I had like 5 or 6 bodies on top of each other, all knocked out. And then at that point, I went extra loud, and then I just started killing people. And then eventually, a bunch of tries later, I eventually got the target, killed them, and kept my gun on me again. I was supposed to meet up with a character, but I had fucked everything up so badly that when I walked up to her and she noticed that the guards were following me, she's like, "Ah, oh, god damn it," or something like that in a British accent. And so I had to fucking ditch it to the winery plantation, or whatever you want to call it. And then I got away. Last thing I'll talk about. Oh, go ahead.
That sort of reminds me. I don't know if you've seen that video of the person who killed every single character on that level with the wine factory or whatever.
Yeah, with the presser. Yep.
Presser. And I love the fact that IO has to account for the fact when they're like making the game technically proficient and so it doesn't crash and stuff. They have to account for the fact that you could technically kill every single NPC in the level and put them in a presser.
Yeah, I've seen that in highlight reel. It's so good. I love that clip and all clips like it. Honestly, it's also great. This game is stable enough that if you have a bunch of bodies in a bathroom and you throw a grenade on top of them, like a frag grenade, the game will not crash. The frames might drop drastically for a little bit, but it doesn't crash. And then the frames come back right up. So this game's amazing in terms of stability. They've really got to account for anything because it's Hitman. I do want to talk about the last level. Again, no major story spoilers because I couldn't care less about the story. That's not why I play Hitman games personally. I know other people love it. Good for you, but not my thing. This was fun. I won't say too much, but the last mission is a lot different than everything else. And I really liked it, actually. I understand completely why Hitman fans might not like it. But I enjoyed it. I will say it definitely highlights how iffy the shooting can be. But honestly, that wonkiness kind of feels at home with a game where you're not really supposed to be shooting unless, like, you've got a silenced pistol and someone's got their back turned to you or something like that, or you've got a sniper rifle. Yeah, the game's really not made for a third-person shooter at all. But yeah, I thought overall this game's really great. Easy, like 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10, honestly. I don't even care about the story. I still think it's a 9 out of 10 just for the gameplay alone. So kind of similar to Seb with Returnal. But yeah.
Fair enough. I don't have anything, as I said. Because I did finish Resident Evil 8, but I'm going to save that for the spoiler cast.
General feelings. I want to know your general feelings.
What's your general feelings with the third act? That's what I personally.
On the third act, I thought it holds up better than Resident Evil 7 did in the third act.
Yeah.
There is a tonal shift, without spoiling anything, that I really enjoyed. And that's all I have really, without referring to my notes.
But overall, you really enjoyed it, or
overall, Ethan is an idiot. I will reiterate.
Absolutely. Big Dope Award 2021. If we do the award show this year, we gotta award Ethan Winters for the Big Dope Award.
That's 100. Now that you said that, we're definitely doing that. That is an award we're handing out, and I've
got two great ideas in one video, y'all. 2 great ideas. It's 2 more than I usually have.
Combo breaker.
And with that, well, there's no impressions this week, because nothing came out. Right? Nothing came out, right?
Absolute laziness from the devs in the video game industry this
lazy
week.
devs.
There was Knockout City. It was free for a week, I think. But
no,
that didn't come out this week.
That's free next week.
Oh, next week. I think it came out today.
Yeah, I think it was delayed too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I would have heard of that.
Yeah, mildly delayed, by the way, very mildly.
I thought it came out they said May or something. Yeah. Did it get?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to come out next Friday or something.
Okay.
I think it got delayed because there's an Epic Game Store mix-up. Anyway.
Yeah, yes, sir.
If anyone has any information, and we're wrong about the release date of Knockout City, please feel free not to write to us because we don't care.
I say that like the computer's not in front of me.
Do you want to look it up, or should we just move on?
We can just move on.
Okay. Okay, well then we're going to move right on to a word from our sponsor. Hey, what should we do for this week's sponsor?
Why don't we do a bit about Deathloop and Deja Vu?
Hey, what should we do for this week's sponsor?
Why don't we do a bit about Deathloop and Deja Vu?
Hey, what should we do for this week's sponsor?
Why don't we do a bit about Deathloop and... Wait a second. Do you ever feel like, James, that you're in a loop, you know, and you just can't get out of that loop, and you just want to die, and you crave death within that loop?
No, surprisingly. I don't think I've ever had that experience.
God damn it, James, take the bait.
Speaking of...
It's called work.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so a bunch of outlets, released previews for Deathloop. We've watched or read some of them. I've watched IGN and GameSpot. Dory, what have you watched or read?
I have watched IGN.
And Seb?
I watched Kind of Funnies, and I read.
So you got the big long podcast extended version.
Yeah.
Excellent. We're all about variety on this show.
That's right.
Did you pick up anything interesting from listening to people talk about it rather than because me and Dory, we watched like the short 5-minute videos. But you got the full.
Well, they watched like a 90-minute or 2-hour like gameplay showcase, but they couldn't talk about like half of it because they're still under like the rules and everything.
Right.
And NDAs or whatever they're called. So
yeah.
There was a lot of story elements that they didn't mention. They really couldn't talk about, but they did say like Colt talks like he fits like the time period in the 60s. Like he has like a certain way he talked, like an accent, it sounds like a black guy in the 60s. But the other lady, I'm forgetting her name. Yeah, she sounds like a modern person. So maybe there's something to that. Like she does time travel or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just piecing the stories together.
No, that makes sense because if you think about it, it's a time loop.
Yeah.
So maybe
exactly.
they're messing with time, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be completely out of the question for something like that to be.
Yeah.
Like time travel as a bigger
exactly.
theme.
I think there's something to that. So the game focuses on Colt, and they said he's aware that he's in the time loop. So he's not like he's not Ethan. He's like, I don't know what's going on. What the hell is this?
What? My hands?
Yeah. But he needs to eliminate 8 targets to get out of this loop, and then this game has a day and night cycle, which kind of reminds me of Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. So the IGN preview went into this a bit. So with the day and night cycle, it sort of changes the map depending on the time of day. And so like if you go to this place at nighttime, there'll be like a party going on, or if you go there earlier, it'll be quieter, and that changes like the opportunities that you have for assassinating these targets. And also with the 8 people that you need to assassinate, there is a way apparently to get them all in the same room, so you can kill them all at once.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But the interesting thing.
Go ahead.
The interesting thing to me that I learned from the previews is that it's not a roguelite.
No.
Even though
too.
Yeah. So what is the deal? If you kill one of the targets, they stay dead?
I'm not sure on that one. But I just know that the weapons and the gear that you acquire in this game is permanent.
Right.
So you don't lose everything on a run, and so even if you fail, you get to keep certain things. But I'm not sure on the enemy if they stay dead or not. Personally, but maybe I feel like it's like Hitman. Like, you know, you replay a level, and like all the person you kill is back. So I guess it would be like that. But I'm not entirely sure.
Yes. Did you see? I swear I saw an article, that said that you could technically play it as a co-op game. Because you've got the thing where what's the other character's name? Sorry.
Yeah, what's the other one, Dory?
What?
What's the lady's name in the Deathloop?
Oh, Juliana.
Yeah.
So if you're playing as Juliana, you can hop into someone else's game, I reckon. I assume. And you don't have to actually hunt down whoever's playing Colt. Yeah. You could like work together.
Yeah,
technically.
They said in the IGN one I caught that they said that you could co-op it entirely if you wanted to. It just depends on who is playing and what their intentions are and stuff like that. I mean, that's the huge wrinkle in all this.
I think that could be the first example of a game where you can choose whether you want to be playing it co-op or like trying to take out the other player within the same context. Because I can't think of another game that does anything like that. I mean, this seems like the most unique game to come out in years.
GTA Online or Red Dead Online are the only things that I can think of that come close.
But those are more like MMOs.
Yeah, that's fair.
You mean co-op and Invasions?
Like
the Souls games do
that.
You can summon players and they can either help you or they can attack you.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
There you go then.
That's the big comparison.
I stand corrected.
Not since the Souls games has this mechanic been used.
So I'm reading like right now that the levels are always the same in terms of like you can get intel. It's kind of like Hitman. It's a big area, big open.
That was the big comparison was Hitman, yeah.
Yeah, and you can like hear 2 guards talking about something, and then you can always like replay the level, and it would be the same, and you'll know you always know how to tackle the same level in different ways. You know what I mean? Just from intel you learned from the previous run. So it's not roguelike because it's not randomly generated. It's always the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also not roguelike because
there's progression.
You know, there's progression too. When you die, you don't lose everything.
Yeah.
But it also has
it's not random.
It also has that sort of Dishonored DNA.
Oh yeah.
Where it's it is an immersive sim, which is that's kind of the thing putting me off, because I bounce off Dishonored hard every time I try and play it.
Oh yes, I did too.
Me too.
I did too. Oh my god, yes.
That's my
I always feel so weird about the fact that I felt like I should have loved Dishonored, but because
everyone always says it's like the best thing ever.
Which is kind of funny because like Dishonored 2 didn't sell very well. I don't think. I think it's more of a cult classic now.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it didn't sell very well. Like they were hoping.
I don't know personally, but yeah, I never got into a lot of the Arcane Studios stuff, Prey I still want to try Prey, but yeah, I tried Dishonored and I think I got like a couple hours into it, and then I just got tired of it. I think I was lost, or I couldn't find anything, and it just seemed very disorganized.
That's what's keeping me hyped for this game. Is that I'm just not a big. I haven't been a big fan of their games yet, Arcane Studios. So this game seems like it's better, maybe, but it's just more.
I
of
always
the same.
feel like they're doing cool shit. Like they're always doing like their own thing, and I respect that. And so I think I've always wanted to like Arcane. An Arcane game, and I mean, they got a great name too. But yeah, I just have never gotten into any of their games.
Yeah. But the one thing that does stand out too is it has supernatural abilities and powers and things like that. It kind of reminded me of BioShock a little bit, I guess, because you can levitate objects and things like that. And it's first person. Because it says like you can sneak up on guards and like can you go invisible or something? Oh, he tosses them in the air. And with a flick of a wrist, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then he shoots them, which is pretty cool.
I did see that.
It seems like the gunplay is going to be very precise, and you're going to be able to mesh it with some cool psychic powers or whatever. So that's awesome.
Yeah, but so with me is like I don't try to like equate games with pricing, but like it's my problem. Kind of my problem with the Hitman series is like for $60, I don't want like a short game where I can assassinate everybody in like a couple hours if I really wanted to.
Well,
I'd be done with it. You know?
I think the thing is, it's like here's an example you'll understand. It's like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It's short, but it's designed to be replayed multiple times, and that's where the value comes from.
Yeah, that's true. No, I agree, but still.
And they do have, so they not only have they have like 4 different places, and then between that they have like 3 different time zones, and then I think there's another variation besides that. I can't remember all the variations, but yeah, there's a lot of different ways to play this game. I can't remember how many maps there are. I think there's 4 or maybe 8. But yeah, I don't know. This guy shouldn't have a hard time with 8 targets. Sora had to take on 13 targets. So I feel like this guy's not even trying. You know what I mean? Anyway, there's my Kingdom Hearts joke. But yeah, no, I think seriously, I think this game looks cool. I didn't like the way that when you stealth killed enemies, it looked weird to me. I don't know if that's the immersive sim stuff, but I didn't like the way the bodies moved or the blood was rendered. It was something weird about the way that it happened. Like I'm not that I played The Last of Us Part 2, I played Doom Eternal. I'm not like against gory games, but there was just something off-putting about the way that they like stuck the knife in someone's back and then they like kind of twisted and moved and the blood. It's just weird. I don't know if anybody else got that.
Gratuitous.
I saw that multiple times and I just was like kind of weirded out.
Yeah, doesn't bother me personally, but
okay.
Yeah, I didn't notice it too much. But I guess I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
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 So basically, this is Hitman mixed with Looper. That's the game.
There you go.
If you guys seen Looper. Yeah.
For more insightful video game commentary, subscribe to PSPremiere.
Looper,
next.
I don't even know her.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I like that joke. That's why I laughed.
Right.
Ha 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 ha.
You're so funny.
Anyway, next on the agenda, Geoff Keighley's Summer Game Fest makes a return this year. Only this time, it's taken a different form. There's probably some joke there about like a shapeshifter or a transformer or something. I don't know. I'll leave Dory. Dory, I'll leave the jokes to you.
I don't know where you're going with this.
I have no idea.
You got nothing? All right.
No.
Well, anyway.
I want to say I'm a big fan of the way that they're changing up the format because I thought Summerfest was so drawn out last year. I stopped caring pretty early on. I just want one discrete event that gives me a certain amount of previews and I can just follow and like all of us can do live commentary on if we want. I don't want to do a fucking, watch something every goddamn day or whatever for a week.
Summer Game Fest last year was basically a sticker that Geoff Keighley handed out to developers and publishers. So, hey, put this on your reveal trailer that you're going to put on Twitter. But this time, It's gonna be like a 2-hour event. That's gonna similar to a Gamescom opening night live or an E3 conference. One of the things I like about Geoff Keighley is that he's a big proponent of live shows like that. In an era where Nintendo Direct is the trend, Geoff really feels like he's pushing for more of these live shows. And I really appreciate that because I like those. And this seems like it's going to be another one of those.
I like both. I just don't like when a guy goes on stage and like talks about their company for like 10 minutes and like all the PR stuff, and then they do dev diaries. And
I will also say, to be fair to Geoff Keighley, you know, the pandemic happened, and then I think E3 was canceled all of a sudden, and then Summer Games happened. You know,
sure, you kind of had to jump into action.
Right. As resourceful and well connected as Keighley is, I think honestly it makes sense that the first attempt is going to be a little wonky and have some defects, while the second attempt is going to be more refined. I mean, he's had a whole year to think about it, right? So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's break down the information here. Apparently, there's going to be 20 or 30 games. Seb, where's that from? Is that from Keighley himself?
That's from Keighley himself. He did an interview. Yeah.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of live service games in the event, which is I heard
that gets me a little like less hyped.
I think I don't know why he would say that as if that's a selling point. I don't know why
you would tell your audience that. I don't. That seems like a mistake.
I mean, he's a big Fortnite guy, right? Maybe he thinks other people are as well. I mean, other people are. It's a popular game. What can I say? And he also said, I think there are going to be some big announcements and long-awaited things. And of course, everyone speculates Elden Ring. He actually did a Q&A live stream on Twitch the other day, and I asked him why he thinks people associate him with Elden Ring. And he says he doesn't know, which makes sense. But no, I think it's just because Elden Ring is like the most highly anticipated game at the moment, and he's the guy with the announcements. He is the guy with his hand in the cookie jar, so to speak.
That's exactly why, because people were expecting to see Elden Ring at the Game Awards, and then they're expecting to see it here. So he's always the guy that has the big show. Like, he's like the face of video games now, I would think. Like, he basically owns like the two biggest shows in gaming now. Like, I don't know. Here's my question for you guys. Like, this is like right before E3, and I don't think this is really part of E3. I'm not sure. Like, it's kind of tying in. I don't know if it's like a competitor now.
I reckon he's just put it here because he values the spirit of E3.
Putting it all together.
Where it's all in the same sort of weekend.
Yeah, but it seems like kind of like it's a competitor to E3 now. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not treating it like that, but it does feel like putting it right before E3 does feel like here's my show. Yeah,
it's probably a competitor to E3 in the same way the EA Play was in previous years, where it's right alongside and it's not associated with E3, but it's not really taking anything away from E3.
No, unless we get like a major announcements from like big studios, but. My expectations are not super high. I'm expecting a lot of indies, like more of the Game Award announcements we got. Maybe we'll see more trailers for those games and gameplay and things like that.
I can't wait for the news flash. CEO of ESA to fight Geoff Keighley in a celebrity boxing match. That would be great.
I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I was me and a friend of mine were queuing outside a game store for the midnight launch of Final Fantasy 15. And we had another friend who couldn't make it. But he wanted to come, but he couldn't make it. So we just we kept messaging him saying all these crazy things like, oh my god, it's so great. Hideo Kojima's here, he's signing autographs. And all this weird stuff. And it got to the point where we were saying like, okay, Phil Spencer and Andrew House are having a boxing match outside the store, and Geoff Keighley's handing out flyers. And he actually, the thing is, I swear to God, he believed it, because we also said that Nolan North was there. And then when I got home, I photoshopped pictures of us with Nolan North. And like they looked pretty real. So I'm pretty sure he bought it.
Really went above and beyond on this prank, dude.
I did.
Like, wow.
And it was worth it. It was so worth it. But anyway, back to
James.
Yeah. So I mean, I go all out for a joke. So, you know, there you go. But yeah, back to Summer Game Fest. I reckon there's going to be one or two big things there.
I would love any details at all about Horizon or no. I'm not expecting this. These are things I want, but you know, I would love any details at all about Horizon, a specific release date. I don't think they've given us a specific one, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
I think
it's
actually no.
Yeah,
I think it just said 2021. Or did it say fall?
I thought it said fall 2021.
Yeah.
Sony's not at E3, so that has potential.
Yeah. And less potential is something about God of War. I know that's probably not going to happen.
Definitely
just
not.
something, anything. We're still
maybe,
working on it.
Maybe an initial trailer.
It really depends where Sony does their show, because Sony can do their show in July, or they can do it like or a week before. You know what I mean? If it's like July, then they're probably gonna keep. No, they're gonna keep everything close to the chest, and
I think the only thing they would talk about then is the indies that they hyped up before, and then maybe Horizon. They probably wouldn't say anything about God of War.
Yeah, you might see like Stray or Little Devil Inside or something like, or Solar Ash or something like that.
Do you know what I really want? And I was thinking about this earlier today actually, and it's kind of out of left field, but I really want the documentary for The Last of Us Part 2 already. It's about time. Come on, give us that documentary.
Are they gonna do one? Did they say they were gonna do one?
As far as I'm aware, they've recorded stuff for it, like during development, but I have no idea. I have no idea if they're actually going to put something out. But I hope to God they do.
Grounded Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine the leaks and stuff kind of soured things on that front.
Yeah.
So, I really hope it would be such an interesting thing to watch that sort of unfold.
Yeah.
So James, what games are you hoping to see at this show? Like anything particularly like you're hoping to see?
I'm always hoping for Resistance 4.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
It's not gonna happen.
No, but I'd be cool with that too. Though.
I would
also love something about any new information about Kingdom Hearts and where that series is going. I don't expect that either, but I know we are getting closer and closer to anniversary. I think 20th anniversary was this year for Kingdom Hearts 1. Next year. Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah, it came out 2002. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that anniversary. I know they were teasing that they're going to have big announcements. So I keep hoping every time there's a big conference like E3 or Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards that we're going to get something about Kingdom Hearts 4. But
yeah, we're not going to see it at this show because Square Enix is doing their own
that's true
E3 conference. But that, and also there's a rumor there's another Final Fantasy game that's coming exclusive to PlayStation. It's just a rumor right now. But it doesn't surprise me because Sony and Square Enix are like buddies right now, and they're getting all the license deals with them. So
you know, wait a second. There have been a lot of rumors about Silent Hills. Would you? And of course, Keighley is very good friends with Kojima. I mean, I know I don't think Kojima's working on Hills anymore, but still, I don't know. He's got those connections with Kojima, so it stands to reason he might have connections with people at Konami in general. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. There's still. The Konami's up to something right now. There's still I've still seen a lot of like things in the air about like they have things upcoming in the summer. Like it could be Silent Hill, or it could be Metal Gear Solid or something like that. I just know it's associated with a PlayStation. but I'm not an insider. But from what I'm gathered, they're up to something. They've just been holding it until the summer.
Speaking
I
of,
can't wait till Silent Hill's the pachinko machine.
If they show Silent Hill and it's a remake and it's like on PS5, I will cry on stream. So
I mean,
there we go. That's what I was waiting for.
Speaking of Konami, I did hear a rumor that Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards. I don't know if there's any truth to that.
It's true.
Seems iffy. Seems soft.
I think we need a source. Will they just wait on that one?
You can just write it out. Get a piece of paper and just write it. You'll see.
I need something more concrete than that, man. Listen, if I was a betting man, I would say that there's probably a good chance we'll see something from Capcom, perhaps. If not at this show, then at Microsoft. I don't know. Dino Crisis.
Yep. See, Dracula. Dracula.
There we go.
I'm not buying it.
Solved the mystery.
I'm not buying it.
I wrote my goddamn graduation ceremony flyer.
So what game would you want to see from Capcom, James?
I don't know. Because they have their 3 big franchises. Well, okay, their 4 big franchises are Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, DMC, and Mega Man, right? Maybe a new Mega Man game. Is it time for that?
And Marvel vs. Capcom too. It's very popular.
That is
Street Fighter.
Okay, we're missing a lot, but yeah, maybe a new Mega Man.
I can see that. My personal hope, and I don't expect it, but my personal hope is I'm dying for a Dino Crisis remake. If you guys ever played that, which if you don't know what Dino Crisis is, it's Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
I know there's a lot of outcry for that.
Yeah,
I'd probably imagine we'd see Resident Evil 4 remake before that though.
Oh yeah. I don't even expect that to happen, but you never know.
You never know. I think we should move on. Do you guys want to move on?
I never want to move on. I want to cling to the past and just be robbed of all my money for nostalgic purposes by large multinational corporations.
Yes, I want to be stuck in a loop. I want to be stuck in a loop.
All right, we're moving on to The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah. I swear to God, we talk about The Last of Us Part 2 every week on this podcast.
Honestly, I wouldn't even recommend this, but take a shot, every time we talk about The Last of Us Part 2 on a goddamn podcast here.
That would be a great way to die.
I'm looking for new members every week.
Yeah, so...
And in breaking news, this podcast has been killing people left and right.
The Last of Us Part 2 was given a 60 FPS patch on PS5. It got the PS5 patch. I don't know whether to be excited or disappointed, because this means we're not getting a remaster, right?
Yeah. That's true. I didn't even think about that, but probably. I mean, I don't need a fucking... Look, the game is gorgeous. I didn't even need this. And honestly, I can't imagine going back and playing it again. But I mean, this has definitely made me think about playing it again. I just can't. Yeah. I think the big important takeaway from this is what they said at the end of their statement, and someone quoted it. That's how I know, because I didn't even read the statement. But it was something like, "We'll have more updates for you about PS5 stuff in the future," or something like that. Which leads me to believe that multiplayer is probably going to be PS5 only, maybe, or that it's going to be a bundle, or I don't know. I mean, again, I really I can't stress enough that I really want Naughty Dog to just really upset the trolls and just force people who hate the game so much to rebuy it so they can have to play factions.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So I have a couple points. Like, first of all, I thought it was a little weird that they announced this with Uncharted 4 like on their Twitter page, because it's the 5th anniversary and we're getting The Last of Us Part 2 PS5 version even before Uncharted 4. So I thought that was kind of weird.
It makes sense, I think, because not from a marketing perspective, but because The Last of Us Part 2 is their most recent game and they'd want to get the patch out for that first.
I get that.
They focus on that.
It's just kind of weird seeing Uncharted, like their Twitter profile picture right now is Uncharted, but that's not a big deal. Second, I don't think I'm gonna play this again. I would play it if it had a new trophy list. I'd probably go back and play it, but since it's like the same game, just same trophies.
I genuinely believe I will play this game at least 70 times in my lifetime.
Yeah, me and you are very different in this regard. That like you played Red Dead multiple times, and you played Last of Us multiple times. To me, that's a game. Those are games I've only played once and beat, and I'm proud of beating them, and I love them. But those are games like once in a lifetime, and then I just move on.
Yeah, I think because
that's a great song by the Talking Heads.
I replay games for story mostly.
Yeah.
Not for gameplay. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where we
I'm the
differ.
reverse. When I replayed Last of Us Part 2, I didn't play it for the story. I played it for the small beats that I missed and then that I then knew about, or that I knew about then. And then also the gameplay, because I bumped up the difficulty on it to hard. I didn't want to do grounded or whatever.
No, see, this is what I
can't imagine playing this again. Like I got to a specific part late in the game before a bunch of other stuff happened. I'm not going to go into it, but and I just felt like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to play any more of this game. Here's where I stop. I can't see. And for me personally, I just don't care about 60 FPS. I don't care about it having a PS5 patch. I know maybe that makes me weird, but like that stuff doesn't really matter to me. The game's already gorgeous and beautiful, and it runs great. Very consistent 30 frames, so that it all seems fine to me.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And Fran was the same with The Last of Us Part 1. He said he played that game like 20 times for the gameplay, and he skipped cutscenes. I know a lot of people do that, but I've never been able to those games are about the story. How can you play the gameplay? The gameplay isn't even anything to shout about.
Well, if you already played the game,
agree with that.
If you already played the game multiple times, you don't need to. You already seen the story a million times, so it's easier.
But it's like rewatching a movie.
Is it? No, gaming's different.
No,
I don't think it's
games
like a movie.
are very different.
Yeah, you can play games because gameplay is the king in games. Like it's a video game.
I mean, the gameplay needs to be fun, yeah, but I'm not replaying the game because I want more of the gameplay. I'm replaying the game to experience the story again.
Yeah, I mean,
that's weird to me. To me that feels like wasting my time because I already know what's going to happen in unless there are different scenes, or I missed something, or I accidentally skipped something, or like maybe somebody has brought up new analysis of a scene, and I'm like, okay, well let me go back and watch that scene to maybe get a second view of it. But
it's just
to me that sounds like a waste of time.
Have you never rewatched a movie that you like?
But again, movies and games are so different to me.
It's the exact same thing. It's a story that you enjoy, and you want to experience it again.
I don't just enjoy the story. I also thought the gameplay was excellent. I love that gameplay.
But movies are not 40 hours long.
Well, okay, a TV show then.
Yeah, but I can watch an episode at a time. It's like
you can play an hour at a time with the game.
It's a different medium. It's just a different because like an hour of gameplay can be like you make no progress at all. Like you stuck at a part, or it's just a different medium. I can't compare the games in a movie.
Okay.
But regardless, hey, people replay it, and that's great. I just for different reasons.
Whatever works for you, though. I mean, I'm not judging you about it, but The Last of Us Part 2, I can understand replaying because the gameplay is so good. That game that has the best third-person action I've ever seen in a game.
The only thing that this makes me excited for are those fucking bonkers clips that people share on Twitter, where they do like absolute ridiculous action movie shit with Ellie. Yeah. Where she'll catch a clip in midair or some shit. And I'm excited to see that in a higher resolution on the PS5. It was 60 FPS. Like that's exciting to me to see other people use what I don't really understand and I don't get the appeal of, and just use that to its potential.
Yeah, and the thing with me too is the reason I wouldn't play this and Red Dead again, because there's certain sections I don't like that. Like me, I've said before that I don't like some pacing issues I have with this game, and the sections I would cut out, and I just didn't care for it as much. Sure. And I don't want to go through that again. There's gonna be a segment I'm gonna be like, ugh, and it's gonna sour it.
Yeah, I did cut off before the part of the game where a lot of people had pacing issues with it, and maybe that had something to do with it. I also just knew what was about to happen, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to go through that. There's a divided part of me that says that Last of Us 2 should have ended at one point instead of another. So.
Right, but I would play it because of the gameplay. If I did replay it, I would because of the game.
I
Like Red Dead.
Yeah.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I fucking love like being as Ellie and being like, you know, I'm a big D&D player, so I think of her as like a rogue / ranger multi-class, and like I love playing her like that in that frame of mind, and like that's perfect to me. Like the stealth gameplay is just wow, the gunplay is so good. It's just
Yeah, like maybe I'd replay a game for the story. Is if I haven't played it in so long and it feels like it would be fresh again. Like if I played Red Dead Redemption 2 again, the story would probably be fresh because I haven't played it since it came out.
yeah.
But the problem for me in that game is that the gameplay. I'm not a big fan of the gameplay, and I don't feel like going across the map with a horse.
And another thing too, you might replay a game for the story if it's been a few years and you just don't remember it. Like I've done that with games where I didn't really remember their story, and I wanted to, you know, remember what I did or didn't like about it. You know, there are games like Metal Gear or Kingdom Hearts where it's like I don't remember anything about this storyline, or I want to catch up and, you know, remember what the hell's going on. So you replay those games, you know, partly for the gameplay, but also partly to catch back up on the storyline.
Yeah, we all have games that we play multiple times. Like, you know, like Final Fantasy 7, I've beaten like 6 or 7 times, so on different platforms.
Listen, I'm not going to take the argument any further, but I want to know that I'm not alone in replaying games to experience the story again. So if anyone listening to this also replays games to experience the story again, like comfort food, just, you know, games that you enjoy, let us know. Join our Discord and let us know. The link is in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast.
Give James the ideological solace and comfort that he desires from our Discord, okay? That's really why we have Discord.
No.
Please do.
Never. No, like, you're not, like, playing for the story is fine. It's just, like, if I'm playing this, if it's, like, fresh and I've just went through it a couple months ago, then that's kind of weird to me. But the only thing I really disagree with you on is comparing it to a movie to a game. Like, I just think it's a totally different medium. But but I see what you're saying. Like, you love the story, you want to replay it again. But for me, it's got to be fresh. I can't do it like a month later, like after I just beat it.
That is, with The Last of Us 2 especially, I don't want to replay it too often because I don't want to. I feel like if I replay it like multiple times a year, the impact of it is going to substantially become weaker and weaker.
I have played and beaten Last of Us Part 1, I think 3 times now. Once originally, and then twice when I went back and did it but wanted to do it faster, I think on a slightly higher difficulty. And the third time was a few years later on the PS4 with the Enhanced Edition, where I wanted to show my partner you know, it. So that time I did play for the story again, just to experience it with her. So she experienced it. So that when we went into Last of Us Part 2, she wasn't like, well, who the hell is Ellie and who the hell is Joel and what's going on?
See, I'm the same for me as Dory. I beat it 3 times, and every time I played it, the story felt fresh because there was years in between that. I played Last of Us Part 1 when it first came out, and then I played it when it first came out on PS4, and then I replayed it like June of last year to get ready for. And that's when I played it on Grounded, beat it on Grounded. So.
Damn. Okay. All right, Hotshot. Damn.
Yeah. I'm the program.
Do we even need Mitch anymore? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Seb's just gonna develop a fucking Australian accent at this goddamn point. Shrimp on the barbie.
I would just embarrass myself.
Next week, he just comes on the podcast. Good eye, mates.
I love Crocodile Dundee.
Oh. Mitch is listening to this right now. He's just crying, just tears of pain.
I'm technically a veteran, gaming veteran. I'm like 10 years older than him, so I think I have I think I have higher, like in the hierarchy. I'm higher.
And I'm older than both of you. So
and no doubt you do a better Australian accent.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what kind of game do you guys want to see from Naughty Dog next?
Dory, you can start on this one.
I've talked about this a little before. I really feel like Naughty Dog just wants to make an open world game. I feel like that's why they keep putting it in The Last of Us, why they keep putting it in Uncharted. I really think that's what they want to do. I don't know that for sure. Absolutely speculation on my part, and I'm not saying I necessarily want it, but I think that's what they want to do because I don't understand why else they keep putting these segments in their games. I mean, maybe it's to diversify, maybe it's to make things more interesting for the player. Maybe it's a gameplay thing and it's not what they actually want to do. I don't know. But somebody at Naughty Dog really loves open world segments in Naughty Dog games. So I just want them to really, like, if that's what they want to do, I want them to, like, fucking do their next game, which will probably be Last of Us Part 3, as open world. Now, I'm not saying I want that game as open world, but I'm just saying, like, if they do a new IP or something, because I don't know if I want a Last of Us game as an open world thing.
No.
But maybe it could work. I don't know. But especially if we switch perspectives to different characters.
Yeah.
Or did something like that. But yeah.
I'd imagine it'd be open areas, like Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy and Last of Us Part 2 were all like that. Like it wasn't open world, but there was big levels.
Yeah, that's more what I mean. I know it's not technically open world. It's more like open areas or open segments. But it just feels like Naughty Dog can't completely pull the trigger on an open world game, and that's what they want to do. That's my reading anyway, and I obviously I could be wrong.
I just don't want an open world. I just think there's too many of them. I mean, Naughty Dog, I'd be hyped for
I get it.
But yeah.
Yeah. Again, this isn't like me being like, oh, this is what I want necessarily. It's just what I think might happen. But yeah, I mean, if I had to say like what I want from Naughty Dog, like I don't know, like I'm kind of just happy with them doing whatever they want. Like if they really think they've got a good thing to say about good thing with Last of Us Part 3 in terms of like what they want to say about those characters and story, then ultimately I'm like, I'm into it to a certain extent. I mean, I want them to move on from Uncharted and Last of Us and that's really what I want is a new IP. I don't know what kind of IP, I don't know what genre, but like I just want new stuff from them, and I think it's time to move on from their old games.
I have 3 ideas, and because I think they're all different from what they've done in the past. I think I would like if they got away from the woodsy kind of settings, unless it was like one of the first ones I would think would be like science fiction, like Mass Effect like or Outer Worlds like, where you can travel to different planets. Maybe they would do something like that. They've never done anything like that. And I would be really curious how they would do a BioWare-esque kind of game. I think Naughty Dog would handle that very well. Like, I'd be interested in how Naughty Dog would write like a choice system, like dialogue and things like that.
Yeah.
But then maybe that would be too close to Mass Effect. Maybe they would do like a linear like Last of Us kind of like story game, but it's science fiction. You know what I mean?
Well, what I like about Naughty Dog is that they don't tend to do dialogue choices or story choices. It's very much the story they want to tell. So that's I think where the strength lies. But I do think it would be interesting to see them tackle the other thing with more choice-driven stuff, as long as they didn't like permanently move away from the current style.
Absolutely, I would definitely take that. But I would totally be fine with like a linear story-driven game in space or something like that. That'd be really cool. Second would be like fantasy. They've never done fantasy, but the only thing with me on that one is I'm getting tired of the whole Viking aesthetic that everybody's doing now.
For sure.
And like from what I've seen, the pictures that are like rumored to be Naughty Dog's next game looks Viking-esque, and I just feel like it's too much like Horizon and Valhalla and all those tons of them now. What's that big game everybody's playing right now? Valorant.
Oh, Valheim.
Valheim, isn't it?
No, Valorant is the first-person shooter.
That's the shooter. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Valheim. Yeah,
Valheim. Yeah. So, all those games, I'm just getting tired of that. But they've never done that before. So I could see Naughty Dog doing a really good Witcher-like game. But it's not my first choice. But I think they would do a good job with that. And the third one I would like is something in a real-world setting, like in a city. But a non-apocalyptic one, like something just like a cool detective story or a crime drama.
I'd love a neo-noir story that they have very specific. I love that. Very gritty and realistic.
Yeah,
because they could totally like dig into neo-noir, which is very gritty, very dark, very realistic. Like that's right. I would love that. Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
As long as that does sound great. As long as they don't do anything with superheroes or anything like that.
I don't
it's not just me hating superheroes. It's just that I like that Naughty Dog is very good at telling human stories.
The thing is, superhero games don't translate well into gaming. Like superheroes just don't translate well in gaming. Only certain heroes work. Like Spider-Man, the mechanics of swinging around and stuff. Like, but Superman, like, was almost impossible to do. Anyway. Yeah, like Superman's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody would compare it to Spider-Man, and I don't think they would want to like step on anyone's toes and just be. I just don't see them doing that. I think I think it'd be like human characters in like in like a grounded setting like that. I think that's where it works for them.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I love that.
Yeah,
Now
me
listen,
too.
I've got it. All right, check it out. Hear me out.
All right.
All right, you ready for this? Naughty Dogs, Naughty Dogs. It's a Battletoads-esque beat 'em up with a ragtag group of dogs. They're gritty.
Battletoads.
I'm leaving this
Yeah.
podcast.
It's gritty. They're ready to rumble. They're gonna beat some people up, and it's gonna be a great time.
Wow.
I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool if they were like Mad Max like dogs, and they're driving like cars and like little frizz like
I've never been so impressed by a setup to only be so let down after. Oh, you know what? No, that's not true. Destroy All Humans remastered. But anyway.
But I would like. I've heard people say they want like Jack and Daxter like a remake or 4, but I just feel like Naughty Dog's just not the same developer anymore. I don't know if that's really their thing. I mean, I would like it,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I think Crash would have like an addiction to jumping or something like that, right? And he'd have to save Coco before she died in an electric chair or some shit.
Yeah, Coco
you know?
probably gets smacked with a golf club like in the first 20 minutes. And then like Crash has an addiction or something, and
yeah, and he's just like struggling to like not smoke, and then Neocortex is like just his brain is he's like completely gone insane, and he's killed like half his minions in gruesome ways. Anyway, yeah, no, it just wouldn't work. You know, one last idea for me. I don't know why, but I think about like Naughty Dog doing something in space, and like that just sounds cool to me. I don't know what, I don't know what it would be. But like, I just keep thinking about Naughty Dog doing a game set in space because it's just so radically different from anything else that they've done, and so I just think that'd be cool.
Yeah, like the 2 for me would be like a nice crime drama in a modern setting, or in space. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah, super sci-fi Naughty Dog. Give it to me now.
I don't want another woodsy Days Gone Last of Us game, unless it's Last of Us Part 3. Which
and anything besides whatever the fuck James was talking about, like anything besides that.
Come on. That was a great pitch.
It was. I got a better pitch for you though. Back of the box.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say.
Incredible segue. We are indeed going to move over to Back of the Box trivia. It's Seb's week this time. Seb's going to hit us with some Back of the Box trivia.
So this game reminded me that I'm more digital now because I had a hard time finding good games. Because I traded most of mine away or sold them. But I got some. I think these might be easy. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Are you ready to do it?
Yeah. I was just thinking about like if I ever did this again, what would I pick? But anyway.
Yeah.
Real quick. Seb, how does this work?
So I'm just going to read the back of the box, and then I'm going to blank out certain words, like so you won't know what it is, and then you guys have to guess which game it is, and whoever gets the most right wins at the end.
Exactly. Just for the new viewers, if we have any of those ever. Anyway, take it away.
I definitely didn't have to look this up because I couldn't remember like totally how it worked. But yeah. Okay. So first one, I think I made it from easy to hard. So I think you guys will get the first couple pretty well. All right. Discover where the journey began. Master the arts of sorcery and war. Become the Slayer of blank.
Sorcery and War. That sounds familiar.
Experience the original blank challenge. Presented in stunning visual quality with enhanced performance. This is the world of blank as you've never seen it before.
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls, yep.
I would never have done that.
It was that one line, the brutal challenge, right?
Yeah, because I was gonna say like because I skipped the section that said completely remade from the ground up, and I think that would have really gave it away. So
what was the line about the brutal challenge, though?
Experience the original brutal challenge completely remade from the ground up.
That is like the original brutal challenge. That's such weird phrasing. Yeah. That like I just know it from memory.
Yeah. And no, what I also realized is like a lot of game cases don't really put like a summary or anything in the back anymore. Like
Right.
I had a hard time finding like games that had them. They were just like, here's 3 pictures and like 3 like bullet points. Anyway, next one. Save blank from the dastardly blank in this epic perilous platforming blank.
Crash 4.
What?
Crash 4?
No. Fulfill your destiny as the legendary blank knight of the blank.
Former Knight.
If I-
Sackboy Big Adventure?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Choo-choo.
Nice.
All right, next
I've
one.
been thinking about getting that because it's going to be on sale soon. Does anyone know how big that sale is going to be?
I think there's UK prices, which is gonna be about the same as ours, and I believe Sackboy was like $10 off. I don't think it was like half, but
okay.
I'll find out.
Worth it though.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah,
I want to get it
yeah.
half off. I'll get it half off. I'm not big on platformers, so I'm taking a risk here. But
Fair enough.
yeah. I won't go on a tangent, but yeah, I really recommend it.
Fair enough.
Next one. From the arrival of blank to the final fight against blank, play as blank in this action RPG adventure. Enjoy a lot of activities, mini games, side quests, and train for blank fights.
Final Fantasy VII, a remake.
No.
Damn.
Hit me with it one more time.
From the arrival of blank to the final fight against blank, play as several blank warriors in this action RPG adventure. Enjoy a lot of activities, mini games, side quests, and train for intense blank fights.
Okay, so there's training. You play as several characters.
Mm-hmm.
There can't be that many games where you play as several characters.
My hint would be like, think of something like, it's like one of my favorite things, like one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
This is all PlayStation, right?
Yeah, all PlayStation.
Okay.
But it doesn't sound like Resident Evil.
No, it's not. That'd be too easy.
Yeah.
It's not Kingdom Hearts 3, right? I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
Think something that people train.
Dragons? It's not how to train your dragon, the video game, is it?
Tsushima.
What?
Tsushima.
No.
Damn it.
You guys are on the right track, though.
Oh, so it is like a how to train your dragon.
Sekiro.
No.
No, not Sekiro. Neo.
How many hints can I give? Like 3 or just?
I think
As many as you want.
It's. I'm trying to be all fair.
I'll say my last one would be I've talked about it on the podcast. That's all I'll say. Extensively.
One of your
Okay.
favorite franchises.
Talk
Training,
about
playing as multiple characters.
action RPG. Damn, I'm real stumped.
Alright, which
What's the
generation was
rating?
that?
Last generation.
And it's M for mature, I'm guessing.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's rated T. For teen.
Wow. Borderlands 3.
No, I think it's rated M, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, also, I don't think Seb's a big fan of. You're not
No,
huge on Borderlands.
I like Borderlands.
So you can play as
I'm not-
multiple characters.
I think I'm stumped on this.
It won't be on James' shelf, but it might be on Dory. You guys give up?
I give up.
Yeah, it's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
I never would have got that in a million years.
Oh, training, of course.
Yeah,
God
I was trying
damn
to
it.
get you guys. When I said it was close, I said the dragon. I was trying to get you to.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that game or that series.
Yeah, I thought Dory might have gotten it, but so
Yeah,
I'll read.
no.
I'll read what it really says. From the arrival of Raditz to the final fight against Blue,
Ah,
play as several Z warriors in this action RPG adventure.
Z Warriors, Blank Warriors. Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
I kept thinking of like Ninja Warriors.
Yeah. So I made these couple like really hard because all my games are from PS4, PS5. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Trapped and isolated in the abandoned town of blank, 4 college students and their professor must escape the nightmarish apparitions that relentlessly pursue them through an impenetrable fog.
That sounds familiar.
Is that the what is that game?
It sounds like a horror game, right?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a horror game, and I think I've played it before.
One of the supermassive ones?
No, I think it's by the people who did Man of Medan.
Yeah, the supermassive.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
What is that game? What is that fucking game called?
Until Dawn?
God,
No, that's the. No.
it's
You're
not-
thinking of. I think you guys are thinking of Dark Pictures anthology.
Oh, okay.
But it's not any of those.
But it's not. It's not any of those. Okay.
No, you got it. I'm just waiting for you to say the name of it.
Oh, Dark Pictures Anthology Man of Medan?
The second one.
Little Hope.
Dark Pictures
Little Hope.
Anthology.
James got it.
There you
Oh!
go.
God damn it. I would never have gone that.
Was that game any good?
I haven't played it yet. I just put it in the disc in my PlayStation last night, so I'm gonna try it out soon. So
Okay.
How much hope would you say you have in it? A lot or a little?
I quite liked Medan, and I really love Until Dawn. So
Did you not get the joke?
I kind of got it.
Okay, god damn it.
But no, I kind of like the first game, so I think I'm gonna like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like their first one too.
So, what is this now? The last one?
Last one, yeah.
yeah, last one.
Okay.
I think I kind of want to give the point to both of you because you kind of like Dory kind of like basically said everything but the name of the game,
Mm.
but I'll just give it to James because he got it. But,
Okay.
so it's 2-1.
Yes. Yes,
So
it
we might
is.
tie here, James. Then
So,
we're
last
both
one.
left unfulfilled.
Well, the best you
Welcome-
can hope for is a tie.
All right, so this one's worth 2 points.
Oh no, no! Come on, that's not fair.
Now you can
Hey.
taunt me, James.
It's fair if you win. So
Dory can't beat me to
2
2 weeks in a row on a technicality.
yeah. Anyway, welcome. So this one is Onward to Adventure. Welcome to the Pioneer Program. As the newest recruit of Kindred Blank, the fourth best interstellar space exploration company, your job is to determine if Planet Blank is fit for humans. True, you're short on equipment or plans. You'll figure it out or not. Good luck.
What is that game called? Something
Shit.
something Mars?
No, it's not in Surviving Mars.
Oh, okay.
Damn it! There was a game that you went on a planet and it had like wild action. Thinking it's that, but I can't remember what the hell it's called.
I'll give you a hint. It's not like a AAA game, but it's like AA, indie-ish.
I think I know what this game is, but I just don't remember the fucking title.
Can you read it again?
Welcome to the Pioneer Program. As the newest recruit of Kindred Blank, the fourth interstellar space exploration company, your job is to determine if Planet Blank is fit
Johnny
for
and Savage Planet.
Bam.
Damn,
Yes.
that's what it was. I knew it, but I couldn't remember the title.
I
All right,
I remember that joke from the start about it being the fourth best exploration company or whatever.
And there you go. James wins today.
all right,
There you
whatever.
go.
Next week I'm gonna be doing it, so I'll win no matter what.
There's
I'm
no
gonna
lose.
pull-
There are no losers on this podcast except for Dory.
The home for infinite losers. That's where I am right
James,
now.
just remember, Resident Evil 3 is a good game now. So
Yeah, I always get the victory in the end.
No.
No.
Anyway,
All right, well, this was a fucking weird episode. I just want to be real with everybody. This was a weird episode of PS Premiere.
that was a very defeated no. So
yeah,
you won.
this was a weird episode, probably due in some part to the fact that I'm very tired right now.
I thought it
James,
was
go
really
to
well.
sleep.
I think
to
it was
sleep.
paced. I think we went really nice. It was
Fair
really
enough.
fast.
James, go to sleep.
I
go
will
to bed.
after I wrap up the podcast.
Damn it.
We're still on air here.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we had obviously no guests this week, so I'm not gonna ask anyone to plug anything. Yeah, actually, screw it. Why not? Hey Dory, do you want to plug anything?
Hell yeah, this is my chance. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Declare192. I've been streaming fucking Ratchet and Clank, the 2016 remaster or reimagining, and I'm just about done with it. And then also I've been playing Batman Telltale. You can join in on the fun at Group Play, where we all vote on what decisions we are going to do next. Sometimes hilarious results, sometimes very serious results. We are getting close to about the midpoint or so of season 2, so I'm very excited. The game is really well written, and I'm loving it. This is really Telltale at their peak for me.
Yeah.
So I love Batman Telltale.
And for me, like I'm not a streamer or anything, but on Twitter I'm very active and I talk about all games. I'm getting closer to 1,000 followers now, so if you want to talk to me about games, look at screenshots and all that stuff, and me dancing on camera, you can follow me at my Twitter channel.
Okay, well, if we're all doing plugging stuff, I never plug my Twitter. I just realized I never plug my Twitter on this show. But it's Untitled Smithy, and I sometimes post video game screenshots. As I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you're aware I really like taking video game screenshots.
And he takes really good screenshots, like fantastic. He's like Willy Wonka of photo mode. Like,
thanks, man. That's
really kind of you.
Are
you saying he gets like children trapped in like the footage or something, or like they end up dying? Like,
yes.
Okay. Great.
No, but yeah, he's like
the strangest compliment I've received.
It's because he put like on Discord the photo mode emporium, so it sounds like a really Willy Wonka-esque like word, like if you had a factory like for photo mode or something.
Yeah, which also seems like another good excuse to remind people to join our Discord, please. We want to hear from you. With that, also, we put out this week, just before this podcast, the first episode of Mitchie's hopefully monthly show called Mitchie's Monthly Review, where he reviews all the games he's been playing. It sounds very simple, but it's really fun. Dory, I think you said it's your favorite thing that we have done on the channel.
It's definitely one of my favorite things that we've done on the channel. It's really well written, really well edited. I actually need to go and watch it at some point. I think about 20 minutes in, but yeah, I need to go watch the rest. But it's
really good. And I'll also say that might be my favorite thumbnail you've done. Probably since the award show, I would say. Like, I think that was. Yeah, I really liked how you did the thumbnail. So yeah. You guys both did a great job.
You're giving me too many compliments here, man. I can't accept all this.
I always give compliments.
But yeah, check that out. That's on the channel now. If you like the podcast, subscribe to the channel, give us a like on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast feed, give us a rating if you can, do that. And yeah, that's it for this episode of the PSPremiere Podcast. So we will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was a weird bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I was right. It comes out the 21st. Came out today. I knew I was right.
It's supposed to come out today, but it got delayed.
Or at least their main Twitter page is May 21st. People are downloading it right now and streaming it.
Okay.
Whoops.
I thought so.
Maybe